Right, Crimson. Whenever you're ready.
Yeah, let's see how this goes. Okay, so the practice of having multiple partners is by no means a recent nor very uncommon situation in human societies by any stretch. First of all, there is the type of relationship that's in question from the marital examples like polygamy, which is a marriage of one man, multiple wives. Then there is its counterpart of polyandry, where there is one wife and multiple husbands. These are more dictated by culture and religion, whereas the one that we're debating more today would be the non-marital open relationships, which is one I'll focus on. Now, I do believe that an individual in multiple relationships whom keeps the fact they are in a multiple relationship from any of the persons involved, or even just one person involved in this group, is a very deceptive tactic. And a tactic, unfortunately, you would hear being used. I've heard it myself with certain people. If any of the individuals are led to believe that their relationship is monogamous and serious, while their partner has other relationships outside of the other's knowledge, that I see as a highly immoral act that does get abused. And it can cause emotional harm to certain people. In this, I can see open relationships and having multiple partners being used in a very immoral way. Here. However, I do believe there is a significant difference between a cheating relationship and a polyamory relationship. A polyamory relationship, in its definition, states that all the individuals must have full knowledge and consent to the relationship at hand. And in this case, I don't see any immorality to that. The key important differences being open honesty and consent from all. However, even if all partners are honest with all others, then it is incredibly likely that a partner in the relationship could be harmed. This is because not all partners receive equal treatment in a polyamorous relationship, and often another is left by the wayside for a new partner, or simply one who is found more interesting. And I will source an example of this. Firstly, in Louis Theroux's documentary on polyamory, he traces cases where a married couple take a third partner, with the wife taking on a third partner. However, the husband, not having found anyone else, grows unhappy and underappreciated from his wife, spending more time elsewhere. The relationship failed to treat all partners equally, and as such was immoral in its unequal treatment. Furthermore, polyamorous relationships are often used as a tool to fix other problems with an existing relationship. They are immoral in the way that they cure breaks in a relationship, as the cure can break relationships apart. An example of this is in an article titled "Notes on the End of My Marriage," explaining a photographer's ride through the last 5 years of his marriage, beginning polyamory as a means of fixing his relationship with his wife. Her eventual pregnancy to another man led to the end of their marriage. This was through no fault of his own. Indeed, before they had thought that they were incapable of having children, with multiple miscarriages. Rather, the unfortunate truth was that she didn't have enough love in her heart for multiple partners when she had to have a child. The family as established in the present day having multiple partners, unfeasible. As such, the clash between modern monogamous situations, such as the family, and the practicalities of having multiple partners can lead to immoral outcomes. In conclusion, it is my stance that having multiple partners is an immoral thing. This immorality stems from unequal treatment of partners within these relationships, and the practicalities of love, which makes you love some partners more than others, such as the act of having a child. Whilst a polyamorous relationship works for some people, it simply runs up against the practicalities of our world. In doing so, it leads to immoral outcomes. Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you very much, Crimson. I know that was hastily strung together. Rest assured that won't happen again.
It was still being written as I read.
All right. So, Muttley, first question, whenever you're ready.
Right. First time doing this, so let me know if I do something wrong. But basically, hey, Crimson, you were drawing a distinction there between you're saying that having a child in a polyamorous relationship draws impractical reasons, and that's why polyamorous relationships can't exist. What sort of practical complications does this actually arise with? I know that, say, the likes of third parents can't be registered on a birth cert, but that's more to do with surrogacy rather than polyamorous relationships. So I'd like to know the distinction.
Crimson, since I wrote that, would you like me to?
I'd like you to answer that because I didn't put that in.
So firstly, Muttley, welcome. It's nice to see you here. I know this is your first event. You sound Irish, which means you've probably just been recruited by Crimson and Fudgy, so it's a pleasure to have you here.
Yeah.
So the point here is from an article called Notes on the End of My Marriage, which is written by a photographer who actually initially cheats on his wife. And as such, it evolves into a situation where he loves multiple women, and his wife accepts this, and she begins having multiple men as well. This is set against a backdrop of where the reason he initially cheats is that their marriage, they had failed to have a child. There had been a miscarriage. It was serious emotional trauma. They hadn't spoken properly in months, etc. And so polyamory was seen as the solution to a problem existing within their relationship. Now, the thing is that what happened here was another one of the men that the wife was with ended up getting her pregnant, and she gave birth successfully. Now, in this case, polyamory split the original relationship apart, and there was a load of emotional trauma for the original couple. What I'd say is immoral about this situation, it's not so much about, the practicalities of can you get a third parent on the birth certificate. It's that polyamory, which was intended as a solution to the problems of an originally monogamous couple, ended up breaking that relationship apart. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does, yeah.
Thank you. Kilo.
My question is, how about the ideas that all men and women are created equal and that the rights of liberty and pursuit of happiness may be pursued?
Right, so sorry, I'm trying to word out exactly.
Here, I'll
word
read
out exactly what your question is.
I'll reread this. How about the ideas that all men and women are created equal and that the rights to live life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, is that immoral?
So what does the first few rights of the US Constitution have anything to do with having multiple partners?
My question basically is the privacy of these people. Why would two people in interest of polygamy be kind of like, why would that be anyone's business?
Right, I understand you now more. I do hold the stance that it's not most people's business, that as long as everyone in the multiple relationships is fully informed, there is information, and people are not being harmed or taken advantage of or misled, then I don't see any problem with it, and I don't see it as anyone else's business. Not when there's no harm and when information is open between all partners. If that is upheld, then I don't think it's anyone's business. I think it's perfectly fine. Hope that answers your question.
All right. Thank you. I don't think there are any more questions for you then, Crimson.